Hey guys, welcome to Amanda's Alternatives. Today we are going to be doing breaded pork chops with Parmesan and cheddar cheese on top. So today is going to be a very fast and simple recipe. You can really make any alternative to this recipe and make any changes that you like to make it your liking. So these pork chops are going to be breaded first, and then they're going to be seared. And then we're going to place a combination of cheddar cheese and Parmesan all over the top of each piece of pork chop. And then we're going to place it into the oven at 350, and we're going to cook it until the pork chops are thoroughly cooked. And then that's it. You could do the breadcrumbs any way you like. Some people prefer to have plain breadcrumbs and season it themselves. Today I'm going to make it a little simpler for myself, and I'm just going to use the already Italian seasoned breadcrumbs. It's fast, it's quick, it's simple. I don't really need to sit there and think about what seasonings I need for it. So we're just going to go with that. You could also season the flour. So some people will put like salt and pepper in their flour with some Italian seasoning, some dried basil and parsley, like whatever you prefer as well. And then you can also be creative and use any type of cheese that you like. Today I'm using a combination of cheddar and Parmesan cheese. However, you can use mozzarella, you can use Havarti, you can use really any kind of cheese that you have available in your fridge. I don't think it really matters. It'll just be a different flavor, and I think that's awesome. So let's get started. So here is my station. I got my flour, which is plain flour. I do not have any seasonings in there. I have 3 eggs that I have whisked up, and then I have my breadcrumbs. These are the breadcrumbs that I am using today. They are the Italian seasoned, and I have my pork chops. To keep it simple, so you're going to take your pork chop, you're going to put flour on it, then you're going to put it in your egg, and then you're going to put it in your breadcrumbs. Very easy peasy. You use one dry hand and one wet hand. You will notice that I have a pie dish here, and it makes everything so much easier when you're breading your pork chops. Literally just place your pork chop in there without the hassle of a bowl. So you notice how clean my hands are staying. So this hand is literally my flour hand, and then this hand is my egg and breadcrumb hand. And now we're ready for the next step. So one thing I did not mention is that I did not season the pork chops before I began breading it. And the reason behind that is because there are already seasonings in my breading. So it wouldn't really make sense if I put seasoning on the pork chop and added salt and pepper and all this other stuff, and then when I went to go bread it, if there's seasonings in my breading, it would just be a little much. After breading your pork chops, we're going to sear them now. You want to give them that little bit of golden brown color on each side, and then we're going to place them in the oven. Then we're going to proceed with putting cheese on top of it. So put a little bit of olive oil in a pan and keep that flame on high for about a minute or two so that the pan gets nice and hot. Just until you get a little bit of brown on the other side. It's okay if you don't end up getting every little square inch of the pork chop. That is perfect. Remember, your goal is to not cook the pork chop thoroughly, but rather brown it enough on each side so that way you got a beautiful color to start with, and let the oven do the rest of the job of the cooking part. So once we have seared our pork chops, we're going to prepare our cheese mix. So we have half cheddar cheese and half Parmesan cheese. It really doesn't matter how much you use. It is all in your preference based on how many pork chops you have. So here, if I were to put a measuring amount, I would say about 2 cups of cheddar cheese and 2 cups of Parmesan cheese. And you just mix it all together. So once that is completed and you have your cheese mix, we're going to place a little bit of cheese on each pork chop. And your pork chops will look like this. You may need about probably 3 to 4 cups of cheese altogether. There really isn't any rule of how much cheese you should put on top of the pork chops. You can certainly do any amount. It's all in your preference. So once you have completed putting your cheese on your pork chops, we're going to set our oven to 350. And once that is preheated, we're going to cook the pork chops for about 45 minutes to an hour. or until it's cooked through. While that's cooking, you can definitely make a side that'll go very well with it, such as asparagus, and you put cheese on top of that and bake it in the oven just on the lower rack. What we're going to be having is a white cheddar pasta type side, something that will kind of complement the cheese on the pork chops and all that, so I think that will go very well. Some great white wines that'll pair very nicely with this cheesy pork chop recipe would be white wines such as Chardonnay, Pinot Grigio, Sauvignon Blanc. Try out this recipe and let me know what you think of it in the comments. So that was my quick recipe. Basically, if it's not enough cheese for your liking, what you can also do that I didn't take the time on doing is in your breadcrumbs, you can add a little bit of Parmesan cheese into the mix, and as you're breading it, some of that Parmesan cheese is in that breading and it'll be so good. Another thing you can do is near the end of cooking time for your pork chops, you can also put the oven on broil on low, and you can also crisp up that cheese if that's what you like. Some people don't like their cheese to be crisp on the top, but that is just another option that you can do. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe, and be sure to check out my account on Instagram at Amanda's Alternatives. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you have a great day. Cheers!